Would you take $1 million in cash right now? Or a single penny that doubles every day for a month? If you didn't instantly say the penny, you just proved why you're not a millionaire yet. It's not about your salary, it's not about luck. And by the end of this video, you'll know exactly whether you are mathematically on track to become a millionaire or mathematically guaranteed not to. If you're someone who works really hard, but still feels behind financially. And if clarity matters to you, make sure to hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. You're about to learn the only 3 math rules you actually need, rules you mastered by middle school that make wealth inevitable. Miss even one of them, and the math will quietly work against you for the rest of your life. And the first one shows you exactly how that humble penny becomes over $5 million. If that number surprised you, stay with me. It all starts with one number, 72. The first piece of math answers one critical question. How long will it take for my money to double? You don't need a fancy financial calculator or a paid advisor to guess. You need the rule of 72. The rule is simple. You take the number 72 and divide it by your expected annual return. The result is the number of years it takes for your money to double. One number, one division problem, and you have a crystal ball for your financial future. Let's make it real. If you invest in a broad-based index fund and expect an average annual return of 8%, you divide 72 by 8. That gives you 9. At 8%, your money doubles every 9 years. Not because you worked harder, but because your money worked for you diligently for 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. Imagine a young professional, let's call her Sarah, who is 25 years old. She's disciplined and manages to invest a lump sum of $10,000. At 34, 9 years later, it's not just $18,000 from simple interest. It has grown to approximately $20,000. It has doubled. At 43, another 9 years, it has doubled again to around $40,000. At 52, 27 years in, it's at $80,000. And by the time Sarah is 61 years old, 36 years after she started, that single one-time $10,000 investment has grown to about $160,000. From one decision, one act of faith in the mathematics of growth. This isn't speculation. This is the predictable math of compound growth. The only requirement was not interrupting the process. The rule of 72 shows you the engine of wealth. It teaches you patience. It gives you a timeline. It turns anxiety into anticipation. But an engine, no matter how powerful, needs fuel to run. And the nature of that fuel and how you add it leads us to our second mind-bending principle. If the rule of 72 shows us the when, this principle shows us the breathtaking how. It explained the nature of true growth in a way that permanently changes how you view small beginnings. That brings us back to the penny and the mistake your brain is guaranteed to make. But let's do the math together, day by day. Day 1, 1 cent. Day 5, 16 cents. Day 10, $5.12. Not impressive. At this point, you're feeling like a fool. You could have had $1 million and you have $5. The temptation to quit, to call it a failed experiment, is overwhelming. This is where 99% of people abandon the process in the real world. They don't see immediate life-altering results, so they stop contributing, they cash out their investments during a market dip, they declare the system broken. But we must continue. Day 15, $163.84. Still feels like a bad choice? Still a pittance compared to the foregone million. The regret is palpable. But here's the critical insight. We are only halfway through the month. We are still on the flat, agonizingly slow part of the exponential curve. The magic is yet to come. Now, watch as the doubling effect begins to reveal its awesome power. Day 20. Your penny has grown to $5,243.04. Suddenly, it's not laughable, it's interesting. Day 25. It's $167,772.16. Your heart skips a beat. You're still not at a million, but you can see it on the horizon. And then, on day 30, the final day, that single penny is worth $5,368,709.12. Over $5 million. This is what investing looks like in real life. Let this sink in. For more than half the time, the results were trivial, embarrassing even. The final steps create almost all the wealth. Most people quit in the penny stage. They don't see results fast enough, so they stop investing. They cash out. They lose faith. If you leave early, the math never gets a chance to help you. The math teaches us patience. First, it teaches us faith. You must have the faith to stay the course during the penny days, the early years of investing when your portfolio balance seems insignificant and market fluctuations feel personal. Second, it teaches us the supreme value of time. Getting to the second half of the curve is everything. This is why starting late doesn't just cost you time. It permanently removes entire doubling cycles. And once a doubling is missed, it can never be recovered. So now we understand the engine and the growth curve. What's the most important variable we actually control? Time. Let's look at a tiny expense. We often dismiss small amounts of money as irrelevant. It's just $5, we say. We see a $5 bill as a coffee, not as a future $50. That daily latte, smoothie, or snack, the convenient takeout lunch, the premium streaming subscription you barely use, let's call it a $5 daily habit. It feels harmless. It's just $5. But let's do the static math. $5 a day is about $150 a month, or $1,825 a year. That's a modest vacation. Now let's invest it. Imagine a 25-year-old named David. He decides that his latte is his daily snack from the vending machine at work. He cuts it out. Instead, he takes that $150 per month and automatically invests it into a low-cost index fund, targeting that same conservative 8% average annual return. He does not increase the amount. He simply sets up an automatic transfer and forgets about it. By the time David is 65 years old, a 40-year investing horizon, what does that $5 a day become? The answer is not a few $1,000s. It is over $525,000, $500,000. From a daily snack, from just $5 a day. Let me repeat that. A trivial daily expense, when redirected and multiplied by time and compound interest, can fund a significant portion of a comfortable retirement. This is not a theory. This is the output of the compound interest formula. Here's the brutal part. The critical variable to spotlight here is not the 8% return. It is time. The return amplifies the money, but time creates the platform for the amplification to become astronomical. If David waits until he is 35 to start, he doesn't just end up with 10 years less of contributions. He ends up with an account worth about $250,000 less. Those first 10 years of contributions, the ones he might have thought were too small to matter in his 20s, were, in fact, the most valuable contributions he could ever make. They had the longest runway to compound. They had the most doublings ahead of them. The equation is simple. Small, consistent savings times. Time times compound interest equals fortune. As humans, we overestimate what we can achieve financially in a year and massively underestimate what we can achieve in a decade. The math does not share our cognitive biases. It just computes, relentlessly and without emotion. Let's build a millionaire using only these three principles from the ground up. Meet Alex. Alex is 25. She lands a job with a $50,000 annual salary. She feels behind, like she'll never catch up. But she discovers these three principles and decides to trust the math. First, using principle number 3, the fuel. Alex commits to saving and investing 15% of her pre-tax income. This is a meaningful but achievable target. That's $625 a month. She sets up automatic transfer to her brokerage account. The money is moved before she ever sees it, before she can even think of spending it. Her lifestyle gently adjusts to what remains. Second, using principle number 1, the engine and the timeline, she invests this money in a simple, low-cost portfolio that targets the long-term average return of the market, around 8%. She now owns a powerful insight. Using the rule of 72, she knows her contributions will double roughly every 9 years. This knowledge is transformative. When the market drops 20% in a year, she doesn't panic and sell. She understands she's in the first half of the penny doubling curve. She might even see it as a chance to buy shares at a discount. She views volatility as the entry fee for growth, not as a signal to flee. Her emotion is replaced by patience. Third, using principle number 2, the faith for the journey. Alex internalizes the lesson of the penny. She knows her portfolio statements for the first 10 to 15 years will look underwhelming. The growth will seem linear, slow, but she has seen the exponential curve. She has faith that if she just stays on the path, the spectacular, non-linear gains will come in the final decades. Her job is not to be a stock-picking genius. Her job is to be a consistent fuel provider and a disciplined non-intervener. So she commits to the long, boring, exponential curve and never touches the money. Now we fast forward. Age 34, her portfolio doubles once. Age 43, doubles again. Age 52, doubles a third time. Age 61, doubles a fourth time. By the time Alex is 65, she will have personally contributed $300,000 of her own earned income, $625 per month times 12 months times 40 years. But what is the end value of her portfolio after the rule of 72 has performed its doublings and the exponential curve has done its late-stage explosion? It is not $300,000. It is not $500,000. It is over $2.7 million. The math did the heavy lifting. Alex just stayed consistent. Alex's entire role was to provide the consistent fuel and, most importantly, the one ingredient she could control completely: time. So if the path is this clear and it's this simple, why isn't everyone rich? Because most people fight the math with emotion. First, subtraction by inflation. Money sitting in cash loses 2 to 3% every year. You're moving backward. Second, multiplication by debt. Credit cards at 20% interest use the rule of 72 against you. Your debt doubles faster than your investments ever could. Third, division by fees. A 2% annual investment fee doesn't sound dangerous, but over 40 years, it can steal a third of your final wealth. The real formula becomes minus debt times consistent investing divided by low fees plus time. You don't need genius, you need consistency. Here's your assignment. First, find your penny. Open your banking or credit card app. Scroll through the last 60 days of transactions. Be brutally honest. Identify one recurring, non-essential $5 to $10 expense, the subscription you forgot about, the daily convenience coffee, the frequent impulse buys. That is your latte. Now, immediately, set up an automatic weekly or monthly transfer from your checking account to a dedicated investment or high-yield savings account for exactly that amount. Automate the positive math. Make it invisible. Second, the rule of 72. Use a compound interest calculator. Go to any free online compound interest calculator, NerdWallet, Bankrate, etc. In the initial investment box, put $0. In the monthly contribution box, put the amount you just identified. Set the interest rate to 7%, a conservative post-inflation estimate. Set the time period to 40 years, or until your retirement age. Click Calculate. Stare at the final number. That graph you see? That is your exponential curve. That's your motivation. That future number is your why. Bookmark this page. Return to it when your motivation wanes. Third, protect the curve. If you have high interest debt, calculate how fast it's doubling. That's your next math problem to solve. Becoming a millionaire isn't about luck, a crazy salary, or secret stock tips. It's about the rule of 72 teaching patience, the penny doubling equation teaching faith, and the Latte Factor plus time teaching the power of small actions. This is the math. It doesn't care about your feelings. It doesn't care about headlines. It only cares if you follow it. Start today. Stay consistent. Get out of your own way. The clock is the most important tool in your wealth-building toolkit. The best day to start was yesterday. The second best day is today, right now. Start your clock and let the relentless, beautiful, simple math of becoming a millionaire do the work. It all starts with a single penny. The question is, will you let it double? If this video helped you see money clearly, like, subscribe, and turn on notifications, because there's a lot more coming on how to reclaim freedom in a system designed to take it from you.